The Role of Indonesia in the Global Governance by Aryo Wailan Gitoyo, student number 190151056. Learning outcomes of this subject. Learning outcome number 1 is to identify the key concepts of global governance. Number 2, to describe several theories in the field of global governance and its implementation. Number 3, to illustrate the implementation of global governance and the role of several significant countries, including Indonesia. And number 4, which is to analyze the role of Indonesia in global governance and the results of Indonesia's participation. What is global governance? According to the Marbella International University Center in 2019, they define global governance as the way in which global affairs are managed. As there is no global government, global governance typically involves a range of actors, including states, as well as regional and international organizations. Let me explain you about the root words of global governance. Global, which is explained by the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, defines it as something of, relating to, or involving the entire world. Meanwhile, the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific defines governance as the process of decision-making and the process by which decisions are implemented or not implemented. We can conclude by the definition of the two words that global governance is the process of decision-making and cooperation or coordination of different governments of different countries to achieve and to meet common and mutual understandings within each other. What are the concepts of global governance? Organizations and institutions. These are the concepts in global governance. Although organizations and institutions are similar, they both have different definitions. Organization is a group of people who come together with a common goal and work towards achieving that particular goal. In global governance, people here is regarded as countries or governments. In the other hand, institution is an organization which specifically dedicate to public service. Considering being one of the concepts in global governance, the United Nations is one of the largest and most renowned intergovernmental organization worldwide. By this, now I would like to explain and talk about Indonesia's participation in this global governance concept, which is the role of Indonesia in the United Nations peacekeeping as being one of the playing actors of global governance from Southeast Asia, which is Indonesia, that has been active in participating towards international peacekeeping operation as being part of the global government component. As Indonesia's free and active diplomacy, Indonesia is always keen and is always active to participate in global governance as the component of the United Nations. By this, Indonesia has been participating in the international peacekeeping mission of the United Nations Security Council and the United Nations Peacekeeping Operation Force by deploying Garuda contingent, which has been active since 1957. The Garuda contingent of Indonesia has been deployed to various parts of the world. Particularly, today, the Garuda contingent is active in MONUSCO, MINUSMA, and UNIFIL. MONUSCO is an abbreviation of the Organization Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, located in Africa. MINUSMA, on the other hand, is known as the Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in Mali, and the most famous and the most biggest Indonesian Garuda contingent participation is the UNIFIL, which is an abbreviation of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon. Indonesia sees participation as an important and concrete indicator of the role of a country in contributing to maintaining international peace and security, whereas in the national context, such involvement is a means of increasing the professionalism of individuals and organizations directly involved in deploying international operations. Indonesia has been recognized in peacekeeping operations throughout the world in different parts of the world with different countries as the subjects and has been looked as one of the main successful public diplomacy conducted by Indonesia. So the research question for this explanation is how will Indonesia maintain its participation in the global governance by actively conducting peacekeeping operations under the United Nations, and how will it sustain? The issue of UN peacekeeping is one of the priorities of Indonesia's non-permanent membership in the United Nations Security Council. In an effort to contribute to strengthening the ecosystem, geopolitics of global peace and stability. The issue of peacekeeping is also based on Indonesia's credentials as the largest PCC for the United Nations, and this has been trusted upon Indonesia to become the United Nations Security Council head from 2019 to 2020. Indonesia will therefore pay great attention to peacekeeping issues, including aspects of personal safety and security and aspects of increasing the role of female peacekeepers. This is to uphold the basic principles and role of which Indonesia believes in to maintain its global governance presence in the international and global aspect. So the conclusion of this video is that first, Indonesia will keep increasing its participation in global governance. Number two, Indonesia will keep sustaining its free and active diplomacy. Number three, Indonesia will maintain its international presence. And number four, global governance will be one of the main important diplomacy agenda of Indonesia. Here are some of the references I have used for this video. Thank you very much to Mas Rangga as my lecturer for this subject, and to my dear viewers for the kind attention. I would also like to apologize for any shortcomings in my video. See you soon, goodbye, and thanks for watching.